Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. And today is part 4 of a fall euphorbia video. Little series. Now lately I've been doing some projects. As you can see, I've kind of walled in the greenhouse with wood when it was just plastic here. So this is the north end of the greenhouse. It gets the coldest. So I've walled it in. I eventually will do the whole greenhouse. But all this takes time, of course. Put up another shelf up here above the door. Hold some more of my plants. Also on the other end of the greenhouse here, I installed a little propane stove for a backup. For those times near January, February, where it can get really cold, we get those polar vortexes. And it can get way below 0 Fahrenheit here. So anyhow, put this little ventless propane stove in here that'll help heat things up. I plan to mount a small fan actually here on this wall. When I get done, it'll help blow the heat back across the greenhouse. Keep this real nice and warm during those really bad parts. I don't want to rush everything in to the house that's rare, sensitive, and so forth to save everything. I've not had it freeze in here for a few years. Last time I had it freeze was when I had my main stove malfunction, the wood stove. And that was the only time it's really froze. But it gets awful cold in here, and these plants do not like it that cold, and it will affect them. So I don't have to work so hard. I've put this little propane stove in. It's on a large 100-pound bottle on the outside. The tank is on the outside. Last time I tried to do this with a little indoor deal with a small propane tank, it turned out the propane tank leaked and it filled the greenhouse full of propane. It scared the daylights out of me. And so I was really apprehensive about doing it. But the bottle's on the outside. I've checked all the connections and so forth. Everything's good. I've tried the stove out. Works great. And we'll just have to wait and see when it gets really cold how great it really does work. I'm hoping it does real well. I think it will. Anyhow, I'm not sure that I showed this one earlier, so I'm going to show it. And if I did show it earlier, I'm showing it again. This is my little Euphorbia milli var impertae. It's kind of a dwarf version of the crown of thorns, more of a bushy type. I've had this about 40 some odd years, about 42 years, I think. And back here is my Euphorbia leucanura. This was given to me by somebody that I moved. Right when I walked in their house, I pretty much knew it was a euphorbia. I just wasn't sure which one. And I asked about it, and they said they didn't know what it was, but they knew it shot seeds out across their living room. I said, yep, that's a euphorbia. But this is Euphorbia leucanura. They said, if you want it, you can have it. We're moving. They said it was given to them by somebody else as a gift, and they just kind of kept it around. They weren't really into it. But I really like it. Very cool euphorbia. And it does kind of make its own seedlings. That's a seedling actually that's going off there. So pretty cool. And this is of the Euphorbia family. It is not a euphorbia, but it's in the Euphorbiaceae. And this is a Jatropha podagrica. Goes down to that little caudex there. They call it the Buddha belly plant. I think it's also called Mexican fire lily. Anyhow, it gets little red flowers on top, which are mostly gone now. And pretty soon, you see these leaves drying up. It'll be dropping all of its leaves for the winter. This is Euphorbia pseudoglobosa. I really like this one, the way it clumps, and it's a real tight little clump there. Really cool plant. I've not seen this one bloom yet, but it sure has been growing nicely. I've had that one about a year or so. This is Euphorbia stellispina. Now, I had the original plant that I got from the Los Angeles County Cactus and Succulent Show back in 1984. So you're probably thinking, no, that plant should be bigger. Well, it was a lot bigger. But the main plant started to decline and started to die. So I took all the cuttings off it and restarted them. I've sent this one to a whole bunch of people around the world, so to speak. So I have the 3 plants left. I had many cuttings of this that I dispersed. 3 plants left. But it's doing real well, putting on some new offsets. Got a lot of new spines this summer. Really great. I think the new greenhouse roof. That was another project of mine. Helped that out. But yeah, Euphorbia stellispina. Behind it is another Evansii that I started. And these are done with the two-step method. You can see that they've been cut there. And the new branches that have come out are main stems, and they're like 5-angled stems. So that's the main stem that makes it grow into the tree. So we got 2 there, growing real nicely. This is Euphorbia McGuffin. And this is one that I hybridized with my Euphorbia mammillaris variegata. That's this one here. I got this one just last year, and it was in just this year, and it was in full bloom. And decided to try to hybridize it with a couple of things, and the one that worked was the McGuffin. This McGuffin is a 3-way hybrid made back in the 50s. Euphorbia plurifolia, Euphorbia clava, Euphorbia heptagona. It's a 3-way hybrid. And then I hybridized it with my mammillaris variegata. And I've got one little seedling from it, and it looks different from all of them. Very unusual. This is one of my other medusoids. This is Euphorbia gorgonis. Very nice plant. Got this at Drummond's Cactus and Succulent Nursery in DeSoto, Missouri. Great stuff out there. I've used this to hybridize with a Botanic Wonders hybrid and got some pretty neat plants out of it. This is another Flanaganii, and this one's doing something interesting. It's getting an offset from the main stem, one big offset from that main stem like a lot of cactus and succulents and euphorbias do. But then it also reproduces by these little branch cuttings here, where the branches will actually turn into a head. Pretty cool. It has a double way of doing things. There's another little Flanaganii over here that I got at TC's Junk Fest. Did not expect to see that out in the middle of the country. Something unusual to see at one of those little flea markets. Very cool. Euphorbia murray. I've got a couple of these. This one's real brushy looking, has little heads that just sprout out all over the place. And as a matter of fact, I restarted a bunch of these heads from another murray I have because I wanted to look a little different and kind of trim it up. So I started these little side heads off it, and so that'll make a pot full of new murrays. Now this is another Euphorbia horrida powder blue. So when I started off my big one, it's doing pretty nice, in bloom. The Euphorbia infausta. Now I had a couple of these in this pot, but the one just recently just started to rot and die. So I took the cuttings off of it. I've got them aside, and I'm going to plant them up today to restart. And I'll probably be putting this in another pot because it doesn't need all that pot space in there. Anyhow, this is another Euphorbia murray, and this is the one I cut all the cuttings off of. And I wanted to keep it trimmed up so I could see the caudex. I actually got this at Walmart, believe it or not, some years ago. Really pretty little plant. But it loves to start new little heads from its branches. But I keep this one kind of cleaned up. Euphorbia dispillospina. I got this one from Daz and Edith of Cactomania. It's doing very well. Branched a bunch. Great looking little plant. Euphorbia greenwayi. Very cool. Got this from Mr. Alan Peck of Ecorse, Michigan. He sent these as cuttings, but you know, I planted these up and it was just like instant. They started to grow right away. No problems with them at all. Little Euphorbia noblia. Going there. This is another Euphorbia submammillaris. Nice little plant. So here's a real nice submammillaris. This isn't the first Dorfii like I just showed. This is a regular plant. See, it's a lot fatter, a lot chunkier. I've got it up here on this top shelf so you get the maximum sunshine, because it seems like they just thin out if you don't give them max sunshine. Behind it is Euphorbia horrida, excuse me, not Euphorbia horrida. Euphorbia polygonous snowflake. It's a male. I've done a lot of hybridizing with this one. Got a few plants I've made with this. This one is a Medusa hybrid. This is the one I hybridized with the Gorgonus. This is from Botanic Wonders, and it was labeled as Pot I, or Pot 9. So I think it may have been a random hybrid in their collections that they were selling out. They had a few different hybrids of these Medusas. Euphorbia enormous. Got that also at Drummond's, DeSoto, Missouri. Really nice plant. My Euphorbia pulvinatas. Now, a few of the cuttings don't look like they've taken very well. There's a dead one back there. I'll have to get it out. And then this one doesn't look too good. Probably have to get it out too, but most are doing real nice. And I hope they fill this pot back out again, because this is the original pot that it was in. A couple of Euphorbia ferox. I've got these up here high, up next to the ceiling where the sunlight's really bright, because they don't do too well unless you get them in really bright sunlight. Another Mammillaris variegata started up there. Euphorbia aruginosa. I bought this as a teeny tiny little cutting plant from Farmer's Market when I was up in Rolla, Missouri. It's turned out to be a really nice plant. Looking great. This is Euphorbia macalensis. This was a little tiny plant I bought from Lowe's years ago. It's really turned into quite the plant. It's a beautiful, beautiful specimen. Love the way it's grown out. Really fat and nice. This is my other Euphorbia McGuffin. It actually came from the ones I showed. It had rotted at the bottom, so I restarted it. It's got a couple flowers there. Growing. Next to it, Euphorbia trigona varubra. Lost some of its leaves up there. I think it was shocked when I put the new greenhouse roof on. It was so much brighter. This is a Euphorbia lactea variegata, one they call white ghost or dragon bones or what have you. Now it's got some normal green back there. I'm going to have to cut those off or it'll just take over the plant and overgrow it. So I'll be trimming those off and try to keep this white form. That one's kind of piebald. Kind of looks neat. I'll leave that and that. Euphorbia opuntoides. Very cool plant. Kind of just goes all over the place. I'm thinking of maybe putting this into a hanging pot later, because it takes up so much room on a shelf. But really cool plant. This is a little monstrous Euphorbia I bought at Farmer's Market. It looks kind of like Firstdorfii, but even more freaked out. It's just really a weird plant. This actually got crushed by a hailstone that came through the roof of my greenhouse this spring. That's probably why it's a little splayed out back in there. It's still growing well. Really cool. Don't know what they actually call this variety. And this is another Euphorbia lactea crest. I'm going to have to cut that normal piece off because it'll kind of take over the plant. You want to keep those normal ones kind of cut off. Now this one's got a little brown on it because it got kind of sunburnt when I put in the new roof. The new roof is just so much brighter than the old one was that a few things got burnt when I put in the new roof. Cool plant though. Euphorbia handiensis. This was given to me by Daz and Edith of Cactomania. It's in full bloom right now. It's been blooming for a couple of months actually. Looking great. A lot of new growth on it. Very cool plant. Can't wait till it starts to offset. Can't remember if I showed this one or not either. There's another one of my monadeniums. This is Monadenium heteropodum. This is the first monadenium I ever got. You can see it's very long. It's over 40 years. Well, no, it's actually about 40 years old. It is 40 years. I bought this one also at the Cactus and Succulent show in 1984. Very cool plant. Very easy to grow. It's never been much of a problem, but it has a habit of the stems dying out at the base. See there? But then all you got to do is break off the top part and they reroot quite easily. And that's what some of these are over here. They look a little dry. I just break them off and stick them back and they reroot. Pretty easy. Monadenium heteropodum. There's a typical Monadenium flowers right there. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off now. Stay tuned for part 5. Yeah, do you ever get the feeling I got a lot of euphorbias? Anyway, this is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead. Take care.